has sentenced a Sioux City woman to 4 months in federal prison and 4 months of home confinement following her conviction on 52 counts of voter fraud. This afternoon, Kim Taylor faced a federal judge during her sentencing hearing.
KTIV's Matt Hoffman joins us in studio. Matt, you were in the courtroom. Tell us a little bit more about this. She faced 250 years in prison, but got just a fraction of that.
Yeah, guys, not only a fraction of that, but actually much less than the government had even asked for. The judge said guidelines called for a sentence 18 to 24 months, but he says that's not justified in this case. Now, cameras aren't allowed in the federal courthouse. So that's why we're showing you video from earlier today. A jury convicted Taylor of more than 50 counts of voter fraud during a trial that happened last November. Prosecutors say it was all in an effort to get her husband, Jeremy Taylor, elected. Of course, Jeremy Taylor was ultimately elected to the Woodbury County Board of Supervisors, though he does not face any charges of his own. Prosecutors were able to prove that Kim Taylor illegally filled out voting materials, failed to translate warnings that her victims could not cast votes in the name of their family members, and forged signatures on voting affidavits. In pronouncing his sentence, the judge said, quote, "There are people who are going to wonder if there's a political angle," end quote. The judge pointed out the White House is controlled by a Democrat, and Kim Taylor was convicted of helping her Republican husband get elected. Now, prosecutors were emphatic. There was no politics involved, something the defense conceded.
I didn't see anything in the internal communications that suggested that there was any influence by the Biden administration whatsoever. That would be false. I saw nothing. I've raised my concerns in the trial about the whole circus with arresting her and showing up early in the morning and, scaring the kids. And that was totally unnecessary.
Now, the judge denied the prosecutor's request to impose a fine, though Kim Taylor will have to pay a $5,200 special assessment. The judge added that a downward variance that would be sentencing her to less than the guidelines was warranted because of mitigating evidence, including her lack of criminal record, the good she's done for the community, and her caretaking role to her multiple kids.
Saw that there were those mitigating factors and raised some questions about some other matters. So, I'm pleased with the sentence.
Now, from what I saw, Kim Taylor seemed distraught before court, hugging her family members before the judge entered the chamber. Though afterwards, that's what you're seeing here, she seemed a bit more upbeat, though she did have to meet with the U.S. Marshal before she was allowed to leave the courthouse. Her husband, Jeremy Taylor, also seemed in decent spirits. You can see that here on screen, talking with her defense lawyer and other family. And guys, now which prison Kim Taylor will need to report to, that'll be determined later by the U.S. Bureau of Prisons. And same goes for the dates you'll actually have to report. The judge recommended she be sent to Waseca, Minnesota. That's about 3.5 hours north of Sioux City. But her defense lawyer actually says she could be sent as far as West Virginia or even Texas. And also the judge pointed out that Kim Taylor was unlikely to commit an offense again, especially because now that she's a felon, she's of course unable to vote.
All right, Matt Hoffman live in studio. Thanks for the update, Matt.
Some parts of Sioux